please stop saying it ain't just about money. It is about money. It is about money. Slavery was about money. Jim Crow was about keeping you disenfranchised for money. Okay, so I was watching a live stream, a replay of a live stream by Tamara Shirley Johnson. And she had on our friend, our mentor, Dr. William Sandy Darity. And it was a reparations update. And there was somebody on the show named Mr. Eddie. And Mr. Eddie said some things that really pissed me off, Johnson. Yeah, and he was saying things, very, very basic things. Dr. Sandy Darity was talking about reparations and how much he is envisioning based on the numbers, based on the data. Not in his conjuring up in his mind, but envisioning based on the numbers, based on calculations. The dollar amount fell somewhere between $14 trillion, $17 trillion. Different ways to pay that out over a 10-year window, right? With, all qualifying American descendants of chattel slavery getting about $350,000 each, right? So these are very significant amounts of money. And it's not a gift. It's actually what is owed based on the free labor and that labor being in the system and America being built off that labor. Generations of labor that people were not compensated for. And then we go to Jim Crow, then we go to discrimination and redlining, all the way up to today where we're still dealing with this. We're still dealing with the effects more than 2 centuries of direct disenfranchisement. We're talking about a huge debt. We're only talking about a lot of money because we're talking about a lot of debt. We're only talking about a lot of debt because of what was done to black people intentionally by policy and action of our directly of our U.S. government, okay? Now, here's the part, guys. Mr. Eddie just kept saying things, Johnson. It's like he compared poor black people to white people with money. Yeah, black people that do this, they live in a poor black neighborhood, and they say black people need to do better. Black people, we get money. Money ain't everything because some black people need to know. Some black people will still be out here doing this, and some black people don't know how to do this, and some black people breaking people's cars, and some black people sell drugs, and we need to rebuild black people's purse. And it's like, it was like all of the Fox News talking points, all like cluttered together and stuck together as one big mound. And he like swallowed this big-ass pill of Fox News and every negative stereotype about black people. It's like that's all he had. And respecting Mr. Eddie, he ain't the only one. We've heard this stuff before, from different people in the community. And it's like, it's so frustrating because black people don't realize that there are all types of black people. Yeah, you can't compare poor black people to rich white people. Yeah, Fox News tends not to talk about white people breaking in white people's houses. There are some people that think that only black people commit crime in America. Now, I know it may seem that way because we have certain white people who repeatedly keep saying this shit, but no. White people do stuff to white people. White people, there are broke white people living on Skid Row. There are broke white people trying to make ends meet. There are broke white people that are drinking and smoking and hanging out, and broke white people that that are struggling, that are not making excellent choices in life. There are broke white people that break in each other's homes and steal their lawnmowers, took their boat, stole their rake. Like, there's a lot of shit. There's a lot that goes on in America. Look, first of all, America, black people are not even everywhere in America. Okay? We're only 14% of the population. Some people go a little higher, some a little less. Let's say 14 to be generous or whatever. You really think that the 14% of black Americans are the ones committing all the crimes and doing all the crazy shit? No. And when you talk about the people that are within the black community that are doing these things, that is a small percentage of black people. Most black people are not breaking into homes. Most black people do not need to, or selling drugs. Most black people are not stealing cars. Everybody's not on New Jersey Drive or carjacking. That's not everyone. okay? But if you listen to some black people, they are really stuck on this, man. And I just gotta say it. Stop comparing the worst elements of the black community to all other black people. Please stop doing that shit. Please. You know, black people do not have the market cornered on bad life choices. Now, there are white women with a lot of kids without no baby daddy or a baby daddy. There are Latino women with kids and somebody in jail. Stop. It's like, and look, and I understand you say, well, look, Tim, I'm not just talking about those people. I don't want it to just be like, I care about black people. I'm not talking about Latinos and Asians and Native people, Native indigenous people. It's because I'm focused on black people. But when you talk about it, it's like you're only making it seem like this is something unique to black people. And look, here's the kicker, guys. If you think something negative is unique to black people, if you dig far enough, you'll figure out the reason. And typically the reason is lack of resources, not lack of moral fiber, not lack of character, lack of fucking resources, which leads to stress, which leads to depression, which leads to bad decision making, which leads to a lot of desperation, leads to a lot of actions people may not assume or pursue if we're given more opportunities, if actually had the resources. Get what I'm saying? What I hear so often online is I hear black people that will look at Chicago. Black people, stop bringing up Chicago. What are you, Rush Limbaugh? Stop bringing up Chicago. First of all, stop choosing the worst place. Like, when white people talk about white people, they don't just talk about Appalachia. Okay? They don't just talk about the poorest section of white America. And there may be some poorer sections. But they don't just go, what about Appalachia? But only do black people bring it up. They bring up Chicago as if Chicago crime rate is everywhere. And yes, I want there to be something done about Chicago. But if you go to Chicago and talk to people in Chicago, you will find out that there are multi-pronged problems. There are multi-pronged problems in Chicago. It's not just one thing. It's not just people don't want nothing. And black people just want to kill each other. Like, I've covered Chicago several times on my channel. I've done research several times and putting together videos, and maybe I'll do another one. But please, stop bringing up Chicago. Like, there are other black people, so that's what they look at Chicago and they compare that shit to Beverly Hills. They look at black people in Chicago and compare it to white people in Beverly Hills. And then they go, why can't we be like the people in Beverly Hills? Well, you poor. You are fucking poor. So poor people, poor desperate people who have horrible schools, whose fathers went to jail for selling drugs that were put in the community by the CIA back in the 90s and the late 80s, are not the same, don't have the same opportunities, and are not the same people as people in Beverly Hills whose parents gave them, left them with trust funds and who own companies. So you can't compare these two groups of people. White people who are doing well do not compare poor white people, white people that are struggling like hell, living in a trailer with no electricity, that's about to be repossessed. They don't compare that person to an upper middle class person living in Inglewood or in Connecticut. They would never do that. But it's like black people keep doing this. Stop comparing things that don't go together. There's a claim we're making about the need for America to right its wrongs, to give repair to a community that they directly disenfranchise through government policies and deeds. Stop making that about black people being pathologically damaged. Stop talking as if every black person is in this, are their own worst enemy. No. Stop doing it. I never hear other communities do this. And I believe when you think it's a pathological or something specific to black people that makes us not to do certain negative things, why don't I ever hear this from other groups of people? I have had a show for a decade. I rarely get white people calling up talking about white people, other white people, or the majority, in generally speaking, about white people not having initiative, not starting businesses. First of all, black people start businesses are more entrepreneurial per capita than white people. Black people save more money per capita. Black people contribute more to their children's college. So people are saying things about black people as if we are not doing our thing. And once again, this is not everyone. We don't talk in absolutes. I'm not talking in absolutes. There's some people that aren't doing their thing. There's some people that are disrespecting themselves. There's some people who are making bad decisions. Let's help those people and let's help them, if we can. But stop, for the love of God, man. Stop blaming, stop comparing all black people to those particular black people that are doing that. I'm not running anyone's home. I'm not carjacking anyone. So why do I have to hear you talk about black people in this way? Do you understand how unsupportive that is, how disempowering that is, how negative it is, and how much of an insult it is? We up here talking about reparations. First of all, you would never tell a group of people that have been damaged by the government and not repaired at all by that government after that damage, and then say their condition is their fault. That's crazy talk. So part of the problem I have is there is no self-esteem. I mean, no pride, no backbone. Look, America owes a debt. I don't know if we're going to be here for America to pay that debt, but I ain't going to stop fighting for it because it's a justice claim. Justice claims cannot end until justice has been dealt out, until justice has been meted out. That's when justice claims end. I feel like the majority of black people would be so much better off if they would have had the equal footing that white people have in America. That's all. And until that happens, you can't compare white people and black people. You just can't, because they're not in the same positions. And you may want to say, look, I'm not saying you can't achieve. There are people that can achieve. There are people that can overcome. These are individuals we're talking about. When America passed the GI Bill, right, they were trying to help all white people. The majority of white people that have been in the service, that served their country, they weren't just trying to help outliers or individuals. They were trying to help a group of people. That's the type of support and repair black people need because it's owed to them. So, once again, Dr. Sandy Doherty had great information, provided data, statistics, and analysis, and Mr. Eddie was just talking. And as angry as I was at Mr. Eddie, I do understand, as Tamara Shirley Johnson pointed out, these are conversations that happen everywhere across the country. Sometimes it'll be these types of responses where people are like, it's not just money. It's not just money. It's not just money. Black people just don't need money. Are you really saying that because you feel that? Or are you saying that because you programmed to say that shit? You know? Like, yeah, we understand if somebody in your family is killed by the police, we understand that money ain't gonna bring them back. But do you realize that's all we got? In a capitalistic society, you send people to jail and you give money. That's it. That's the recourse in this life. Now, if you want some spiritual stuff about what's going to happen when you die, more power to you. That's another realm that's going to be handled by a higher power. But in this world, in this life, how we make amends is money. Please stop saying it ain't just about money. It is about money. It is about money. Slavery was about money. Jim Crow was about keeping you disenfranchised for money. It was about money. Stop saying it's not about money, because it definitely is about money. You sound infantile. You sound like you don't live in the real world. When you have money, you have less stress. If you have less stress, you enjoy life better. You live longer. It's not everything. You can still have bad relationships. You can still have bad health. Some things are genetic. But if you have money, you can sort of mitigate some of those problems because you have money. So please stop saying, well, we need more than just money. We need to, because we don't always tie our shoes, and we don't always say excuse me when we bump into each other. And sometimes we fought without excusing ourselves and stepping out of the. I don't want to hear this type of stupid shit. Asians didn't sit around going, hey, hold on. Before we get our internment camp money, we got to make sure Su Ling knows how to say please and thank you correctly. And we got to make sure Su Ling is a mathematician, an investment advisor, or gets a BA. No! Su Ling got her damn money. Then she went back to her friends and said, Su Ling, don't you mess this money up. Hold on, Su Ling. Let's talk about what you're going to do with this money, because you don't know what you're doing with that goddamn money. So they work together after the fact. But only am I hearing it from black people. I got a feeling Native people on the reservations, when they got their casinos, they were like, hold on. Before we get these casinos. How? Before you give me a casino, we all need to get together and take a couple of decades studying how to run a casino. Nah, they figured it out. Even without the internet. They figured it out. They needed the money. They took the money. They built the casinos. Stop. You sound anti-black, which is very coonish. All these stipulations for black people that don't apply to anybody else, you apply them to black people. Why? Now I know why. Some white people do it, and now I realize that the same diseases that some white people have, black people have too. It's gotta be it. Black people are not children. Reparations is not about being a child and asking for someone to be a fairy godmother or for Santa to come through. That's about a debt owed. And black America don't need nobody to hold our hand and teach us how to spend money. We've been making it on less money in this country since the day we were set free. We've been somehow surviving without the aid of this country in most instances. And we're still here. We're so resilient. We're so strong. We are a miracle. And we damn sure can figure out how to balance a checkbook. We can damn sure figure out how to invest. We can damn sure figure out what to do with money if we had it. So, I'm just looking at these things, and I just want to reiterate. Black people are not uniquely damaged beyond repair. Black people are not uniquely, inherently, okay? We are not inherently deficient. Stop talking as if we are. That's how you sound, like black people are inherently deficient. We can't expect black people to be able, when you start talking this way, when you start saying shit, catch yourself when you are saying shit like black people need to, no, just always check that shit. And ask yourself, do white people say that to themselves? Are Latino people going, Latino, you know how we are. You know how we are. We don't know how to work together. You know how we are. We don't know how to do without money. We gonna go buy some hair extensions. Like black women are the only women that put something in their hair. Like black women, like black men are the only ones that wear tennis shoes. I mean, just dumb. White people wear shoes. White women get their hair done. Asian people buy shit. People buy things. So, stop. Just stop. Putting us down It's bad enough I gotta listen to this shit. For white people who don't know better, for white people who are bigots, I gotta hear from black people who don't know anything. We are 14% of the population, we own 2% of the wealth and 2% of the land. This is not by accident. If we were more landowners, you don't think we'd be able to handle money better? We'd have money to handle. People will figure it out. You give a person $5,000, they'll figure it out. Stop talking as if everybody's going to throw money away. And look, I'm not saying give us $5,000. If you give somebody $500,000, they're going to hold on to that thing. They're going to do something. I'm not saying everybody's smart, but I believe in the resilience of black people. We've been able to survive in America. With some of us, we were freed with no 40 acres in the mill. Meanwhile, white people got 160 acres just for being white. And somehow, your black ass is here, somehow my black ass is here. Somehow we're all here. And you want to make it make sense to me for you to say, if we got money now, that's when we're going to be in trouble. When we got money, we're going to be in trouble. We've been in trouble since the day we were born. We've been in trouble all this time. I disagreed with a lot of things with John Lewis, but I agree with this. There are some things called good trouble. And if you think us having money is going to lead to trouble, well, that's a good kind of trouble. And that's a trouble more of us need to be in. You heard? People are owed reparations. Reparations now. All my Johnsons. Wolfpack. Big K.
Ayo, wait, hold up, pause, no debate, no applause. Tired of the wait, man, we need a revolution, but you can't to debate. We be down for the cause. I be laid on a sauce, keep us down for the cause. Fuck up, round, get a public execution. Better wise up, hold up, fuck it, pause. Pause like 10 black, overwhelmed, but I gotta get my wits jacked. We be preachers to the quiet.